Fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. I'm out in the elements, and I wanted to touch bases with you guys. I know I'll be going live for the Better Biev versus Yard fight in London, but I wanted to catch you guys live before. I want to go live tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because I've been working like crazy. So, it's been a tight schedule. But I did want to talk to you guys about Chris Eubank Jr. and the new development that we've received in reference to the elbow, okay? Julian Falcon, what's up, brother? When you guys come in, please, pretty please, hit the like button. Why not? And a lot of people have asked me about it. They sent me stuff about Chris Eubank, and fouls and how fouls supposed to, what do they mean in the sport of boxing? Well, they can mean everything. Let me give you guys a perfect example. Roy Jones Jr. See, Roy Jones' first loss. Do you guys know when his first loss was? Marlon Thornell. Afternoon, Kurt. God bless you. Back at you, Marlon. Julian Falcon. You got it. Jesus. Panochito. Paz. What state are you in? I'm in Louisiana right now. Amy dead yet? Hey, Kurt. Gang 1. Looks nice day, Kurt. Dark, cold here in Liverpool, UK. Or Liam. Haha. Good day to you. Yeah, you with Liam over there in Liverpool. Arizism, what's up, brother? Much love. Disqualification. No, well, are we referring to Roy Jones or are we referring to the fight? No, it wasn't a disqualification. That fight's done, people. That fight is done. Liam taxed that ass, people. Mark, what's up, brother? Evening, mate. Mark Purdy, what's up, Kurt? Edinburgh, Scotland. What's up, my brother? How's everybody doing around the world, man? Well, first of all, man, let me tell you guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. You know what I mean? The lovers, the haters, the participators, the watchers. I appreciate everybody, man. I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys. Ryan Watterson, it wasn't the elbow that hurt Eubank. It was the uppercut left combination. Counterpunch to you, Ryan. Ryan's in the place to be. And the place to be is reality. Okay? Because it's absolutely right. See, listen. That's what hurt Chris Eubank. Okay? And he was going to go down. No doubt about it. From Glasgow, Scotland, reality. I heard that. Mr. J, too many rematches these days. Eubank got beat simple. Well, he can't fight Golovkin taking an ass whooping like that. So he might as well try to redeem himself. But see, here's the thing. What was Liam Smith going to do after that? Liam Smith was going to expect it to take a loss. Yeah, take a loss. After he took that loss, maybe fight one more time besides being retired and hang out with Richard Gere. King Mike Hall in the building. Liam's a cheat. Stay ready. Well, I mean, he fouled him. What are we, Jesus Christ? I mean, what are you foul a person, now you're just a cheat? He's a cheat. They said, I think that's kind of harsh. Just because you go over the speed limit, does that make you a goddamn speedster? No. That just means you speeded a little bit. I'm not going to throw Liam Smith under the bus, but what I will do, I got to get on the referee. Because the referee knew, or he should have known, hey, one of those shots were not regulation. That's what he needed to see. Like, hey. And that point, he should have came in because you got a guy that was able to get up from an onslaught. Liam Smith, yes, was able to hurt Chris Eubank Jr. I don't give a shit why and how. Was he starched? Was he in the wrong weight class? It doesn't matter. When he got hit, he was hurt. Right? So since he was hurt, that's it. He went down. He was able to get back up. Then he got, bah, he got the elbow. He got the Tom Poe, people. He got the milk Sioux cow. He got the Thailand closed flower technique. Left strike with the elbow. You know, at that point, that's still supposed to have been sought out. It's still supposed to have been officiated. That's what should have happened. Now, would that have changed anything? Probably not. Because Chris Eubank was wobbly. He was beat up, you know. But then again, we'll never know. We'll never know that. Because to get caught with an elbow like that, that's 5 minutes. 5. That's 5 minutes. Just like anyone. Rematch Taylor versus Catterall. I just hope Catterall puts him away this time. Jock in a frock. Gang 1. That's the only thing he has to do. That's the only alternative. He's not going to win. He ain't going to win. Unless they want to make an example out of Josh Taylor. Because you think about Josh Taylor's career, he took many L's after that fight. He never officially been defeated, but he took a lot of L's. Jesus, look at his win. This win is killing. Mayweather was landing mad elbows on Ricky Hatton and won, but Hatton took the L. Floyd's still dirty though. He pokes fighters' eyes when clinching them. He doesn't hit and hold, he holds then hits. And see, he has with the shoulder roll, if you notice Floyd, when you grab Floyd puts that, because he's like this. So when you come in, that elbow is either at your chest or up at your neck or up at your face. That's how Floyd did it. Psycho Crusher. What's up, Kurt? Keeping yourself healthy. Man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I always love to walk, sprint, you know, a lot of calisthenics. I think the older I get, the less I deal with like heavy weights and the more I deal with stretching and calisthenics. I think that's the way to go because you're still able to maintain your strength, and, you know, and your flexibility is a must, especially when you get older. I think you need to get slimmer, smaller when you're older, you know? Do you think Conor Benn could have beaten Chris Eubank? Yeah, at 157, no doubt about it. He would have fucked Chris Eubank up, and then guess what? Chris Eubank's lucky he didn't get that fight. Chris Eubank's lucky that that fight didn't take place. Just maybe another minute number off, and that man would have passed that test, and he would have had full access, unleashed access to tear into Chris Eubank. Because Chris Eubank, see, Conor's a little dog, bro. Conor would have done that, he's a better finisher than Liam. Liam really didn't even finish him off. Liam caught him with like grazing shots after he hurt him and just sent him down. He caught him with that one good right when he got up, and then that already was enough. And that told you, that should have told everybody that Chris Eubank Jr. was badly hurt because he got caught with that one shot and he was going down anyway. That's all it is. At 57, Chris going to bed. Yep, he was going to sleep. Night. And 57, and then 60, you know, they're blaming it on, 60, and he was just 168. Look, no, bro, no. Conor's too small for him. He needs to stay his ass up where he's at. That's why Tony Bellew told Chris Eubank Jr., because, you know, Chris Eubank was talking shit at Tony Bellew a few years ago. And he told him, boy, when I was your weight, I was in high school. There's no way I'm going to make your weight to fight you. You know what I mean? That's a death sentence. You're signing a contract to get a one-way ass beating because there's no way that you're going to make that weight and still be productive. That's what it is. That's what it is. I always thought Eubank was too big for Conor Benn. Yeah, he's too big for Conor Benn. You know, they're just trying to hype that shit up because it's a family rivalry fight. They know it's at stake, and they know they can make a lot of money from that because they knew what was at stake back in the day. They want to relive shit that already happened. And they know by doing that, they're going to bring their sons together because they're fighting at the same time. You know, even though Chris Eubank ain't in his prime no more, he's an older guy now. You can call him seasoned all you want. He ain't the same dude that beat up poor little Tyen Booth. That tall, skinny cat. I seen that fight last night, actually. Conor out of shape, maybe 160 at max. He ain't going to fight at 160, though. He ain't going to fight at 160. OG bars, Kurt. Conor can bang. Yeah, he can bang. Conor is a bigger Tank Davis. Say I'm wrong. No, he's not a bigger Tank Davis. He can't move like Tank. He's not. No, he's not as dynamic as Tank. Tank is more like a Mike Tyson because he's small. Bro, Tank is small. Conor ain't big. I met Conor. You guys know I met Conor, right? Met Conor in Vegas in 2021. He was on the undercard of Haney versus Linares. He was there. He was there. Eddie Hearn was there. You know, and I was hanging out with Big Dean. Shout out to Dean White, man. I hollered at him. You know, he lost a son. So, you know, put your prayers in, man. Let the prayers go up for Dean White because, you know, he's a promoter. He's doing big things, but, you know, just say a prayer for him because, I mean, some things you can't change. I don't care how much success you have. You can't bring back a family member. You can't bring back a son. So, but anyway, just getting that through to you guys. I met Conor Ben. You know, I'm 6'2", 235, 240 at times. So, you know, I see him. I'm like, okay, you know, he's a smaller cat. But Tank is smaller than him. Tank is like Manny Pacquiao size, bro. You know? You say no in size. I mean, see, here's the problem with Conor, though, now. King Mike. Here's the problem with Conor. Conor, he has to start fighting to show us that he's still a badass. Look, I don't look at any other fighter if they're accused of cheating. Because you know, he's saying, I don't want to be with UCAD. Yo, you got to be with something. You got to be taking some type of test. Because, listen, if nobody else is having this problem but you, that's a problem. That's all I'm saying. You know, you failed 2 drug tests and all of a sudden, UCAD don't know what the hell they're doing. Now, I admit UCAD has done some shady stuff where they haven't revealed that you failed the test or let you off the hook supposedly and then came back later on. That's like kind of like double jeopardy, but maybe that happened in the first time. Maybe they didn't say anything the first time because I didn't hear shit about it. And that was a problem. We should have heard about it when he failed or had a problem or an issue the first time. And we didn't hear anything about it. But no, he has to go in there and whack somebody's ass clean and clear, drug-free. And we have to know it. Hey, that man passed all of his tests. Let's see him do the rest. We need to see him whoop somebody's ass knowing that he's passed the test without any issues with UCAD or VADA or anybody. I don't give a shit who he is. It doesn't matter. If Conor Ben needs to show us that he can fight clean. That's what I'm going to say about that. Tank ain't never got popped. Pacquiao ain't never got popped. Mayweather ain't never got popped. You know, can't say that shit about Canelo. Can't say that shit about Roy Jones. Can't say that shit about Luis Ortiz. Can't say it about Fernando Vargas. This nigga had a 6-pack. Like, yo, where did you get a 6-pack from? James, what's up, Kurt? Counterpunch. To you, quick predictions. Haney versus Loma. Tank versus Garcia. Fury versus Usyk. Plant versus Benavidez. Mythical match. Joe Louis versus Jack Johnson. You know what? I'm going to go with Jack Johnson against Joe Louis. Jack Johnson looked more versatile. He just didn't, like, I think Jack Johnson actually threw the Willard fight, honestly. UCAD and VADA got to make that money, so a little suspicion, a little payoff. He has to show that he can pass the test, man. I mean, just I look at him no different. I look at Jarrell Miller and everybody else that has to redeem themselves. And in fact, you know what's going to happen, right? Connor Ben, you know what? I'll just show you guys. I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to show you what's going to happen to Connor Ben in my book. I'm going to show you today, like Robert De Niro, today, today. Are you streaming live the Better Biev fight, Kurt? Absolutely. It'll be up tomorrow. I'll set up the live stream, let you guys kind of chill around the trenches. You know what I mean? Make yourself known, you know? Yeah. I'm definitely doing that. No way, Joe Louis all the way. Hey, man, Joe Louis was just more popular, but that doesn't mean he was better. Look, Joe Louis was rather stationary for a heavyweight. He's probably my favorite heavyweight, you know, but I don't think he would have beat Jack Johnson. I just don't think so. And the reason why, because Jack Johnson he had that Roy Jones Jr.-ish type reflexes. You just really couldn't see it because of the technology at the time. Jack Johnson, bro, was dynamic. He lunged at you with shots. You may say, oh man, that's nah, Joe Louis, nah. This is just my opinion. Joe Louis had to catch you still and chop you down. That's why a lot of people thought Ali would have got him, because Ali would have, he's more mobile. Joe Louis is bad for who he is. It's like, guys, I look at Joe Louis's style like Arturo Gotti's style. You know, like Arturo Gotti, I always seen him as a smaller version of a Joe Louis with the hooks, and he chops punches and he commits the shots, and he's really heavy-handed, those type of things. But Joe Louis, he was a class act. Don't get me wrong. You know, he fought in Hitler's era, and he beat Max Schmeling on the rematch, and he kicked Max Baer's ass, and Jimmy Braddock, and all those dudes. He took them all on, okay? But Jack Johnson, I think he was just in a league of his own in a different era, years before, decades before, okay? My money today, yeah. Give me my money. Always claiming cheating, always wanting a rematch. Apparently boxing is too violent. Yeah, boxing is violent. Of course he is. He said he threw it at first, then admitted he didn't later on. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what that was about, because it's just like Martin Carefoot, man. You're going to start lying. You don't know what to really believe. You could lie, and then you could say you didn't lie, and then all we know is you're a liar. We don't know which one is the truth. Jack Johnson had that dashing, thumping power. Yeah, he'll dash at you, kind of like Roy Jones used to do, but then he's a heavyweight, so let's look at someone like Klitschko. You remember how Klitschko used to lunge at you with the left hook? Where he caught Joshua a couple times and made him think about quitting boxing? Good fight. Right? I can't go all. Klitschko. People go on about how Marciano had poor competition, but Joe Louis' competition wasn't much better, was it? Just that he had more title defenses. No, it was better. Because, see, listen, let me tell you guys something. It was a lot better. Primo Carnera, James Braddock, he upset Max Baer. Then you had Max Schmeling. Those guys were like the four horsemen of the apocalypse back then. They were beasts. Max Baer killed 2 people in the ring. He was absolutely a treacherous guy. Okay, he was a jokester, but then they were in an era that was terrible. Hitler and his, minions had, Max Baer was Jewish. He had Jewish blood, so he took that very seriously. And, he beat the shit out of Max Schmeling. You know what I mean? If anybody, if he had a choice, he probably would have killed him, right? But no, Joe Louis beat them all. He beat them all. Yes, he had a platform to be successful, to be great, because he had the competition. Rocky Marciano didn't have that shit. When he fought Joe Louis was 39 years old. He had just come back from playing golf and found out the government robbed him and all that dumb shit, you know, ripping him off, taking his money. So he was forced to fight. It wasn't like, hey, I want to make a comeback because I want to show this little Italian kid how to box. No, it wasn't nothing like that. This Italian kid was kind of like, dare I say, Roy Jones in the 90s. Because Roy really didn't have I mean, you can't say he didn't, but come on, bro. I mean, Rocky didn't have that. And it was for time for him. If Rocky would have continued fighting in the 60s, he would have been defeated by any of those guys. Stop with the sour grapes. Smith and Ebanks needs a rematch. Ebanks was winning until he decided to pull a rope-a-dope. He blew it. Well, I mean, that's all it takes. This is boxing. Jack Johnson versus George Foreman. Oh, man, I don't know. You know, and they're both really about the same height. And we don't know. Here's a problem. We don't know what type of, what's the word? We don't know what Jack Johnson was holding back. Jack Johnson was probably a guy that was a lot more talented. He just couldn't show it. I mean, he taunted guys, beat the shit out of them, but he knew what it cost him. Dude, racism was in full fledged at the time. The world was on fire. It was terrible. You couldn't even whistle at nobody, man. You couldn't even look in their direction and somebody saw it. They're gonna fucking have a mob against you. Did you look at that woman like you looked at her? We're gonna kill you. The Italian kid never lost a fight. No, he never lost a fight. He sure hadn't. And for what he did, he was brilliant. Again, for what he did, he was brilliant. Foreman would murder him. Let's look at this way, bro. Foreman, Rocky Marciano. Think about it. Now, you look, and if Foreman, Rocky Marciano. Let's talk about that for a second. Ali would blind him with jabs. He wouldn't catch Ali. I'm not talking about Ali, though. I'm talking about George Foreman, somebody with some brutal power. Bo would punish him. Foreman would murder him. Jones did beat a prime Hopkins, though. He did. He gave Hopkins his second loss ever. You know who gave Hopkins his third? The kid from Arkansas, Mr. Razor himself. Arkansas Razorback took that title from him. Jermaine Taylor. Bo would punish him. But no, listen, guys, listen, honestly. If we're talking about Foreman versus Marciano, just Foreman destroys him. And it would be bad because he's so little. People would look at that like, dude, it's not fair. You know? Even somebody he should have fought. He should have fought Liston. But Rocky knew. Rocky's like, I'm not fucking with them guys. Because I learned from the best, and the best to me was Joe Louis. I beat him. And Rocky will tell you, bro, he said that. If Joe Louis can't make a comeback, what makes you think that I can? He said that. So it's not like people are bragging for Rocky Marciano and he's not even bragging on himself. You know what I mean? He is a small dude. Foreman, Pretty Boy Floyd Patterson, Ali, even Igomar Johansson. That probably would have been a good fight with him and Igomar because he had a chance with Igomar, but even Igomar was too big for him. Like, we have to stop looking at like, Rocky, all right, Rocky. Rocky was good from when he was good, but he got the hell out of Dodge because he seen a wave of talent that he knew there was no way I'm going to fight any of these fucking guys. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Shavers would shave his soul. Yeah, no, listen, that's too much. That's too much for Rocky. And I don't think it's really fair. People, oh man, Rocky would have done it. Okay, sure, I know you're a fan. I get it. That's cool. That's cool that you're a fan. But at the end of the day, that man that you're a fan of, he's not even saying that he would do that. Why didn't Eubank and Nigel Benn fight Roy Jones? You got to ask them. I couldn't answer that question for you. But no, bro. No. Shit, why didn't Roberto Duran fight Julio Cesar Chavez? That type of stuff. That's what I wanted to see. It's a lot of fights that could have happened, but they didn't. Henry Armstrong versus Floyd Mayweather in welterweight and middleweight. Who wins, and does the result change in either weight class? Well, you have to factor in how many rounds are we doing? Are we doing fucking 40 rounds? No. I don't think we'll, if it's 12, I give it to Floyd, because Floyd knows how to regulate and control a 12-round fight. He ain't got to beat you up. He just has to show the judges, that he's better than you. He's got to outland you, out-hustle you, show you generalship, and just show you out. Answer everything that you do, and then some, and he will beat you in 12 rounds. That's how he does it. Floyd has a way of beating guys without really hurting them, just showing them who's better. That's what Floyd did. Floyd learned, I'm not pretty boy no more. I'm not whooping everybody's ass like I used to, swelling my fucking hands up. I'm going to show you that I'm better than you without beating you really up. I'm going to show you. I'm going to punch you in the face, but I'm not going to hurt you. Similar to what Usyk's doing. That's why Terrence Crawford, to me, is pound for pound better than Usyk, because Terrence does it to hurt you. Terrence does that to hurt you. He's not going to play with you. He's going to stop you. He's going to find a way. Yeah, I can beat you up, but other than that, I am going to knock you out. That's Terrence Crawford. That's the difference between him and Errol Spence. Errol Spence, he will just punish you. See, Errol Spence he's a punisher. He will chop you to the body. It's beautiful combinations. And people hear me talking about Errol Spence and imitating him. I imitate everybody, okay? But the guy is one hell of a fighter. But he's not a straight savage. He's not. He's a brutal force in the welterweight division, but he's not a savage. He's not as mean as Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford's whole identity is to go in there and stop you. I'm going to find a way to catch you, hit you with the holes, find the openings, hit you with these big shots, and knock you out. And I don't give a shit how it comes, but I'm going to find a way, like he did with Sean Porter, like he did with David Avanesian, like he did with 8 or 9 other motherfuckers before him. The Brown Bomber had a right cross. Yeah, he did. He did have a right cross. I think Henry Armstrong wins by KO in the round 12 or 14. Well, Julian, it depends. If it's past 12, okay, well, that's in his, because, Floyd ain't went no 13. He doesn't know about 13, 14, 15 rounds. He doesn't know anything about that. That's like running full speed, or let's say you run a 400, and let's say somebody's telling you, a 400 distance runner, you're running the 400. Hey, you got to run an 800. That you don't know anything about that. You're not conditioned for that. Only 2 guys how would have a chance at Floyd in welterweight is Aaron Pryor or Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson didn't have a chin. Julian Jackson could hit like a freight train, but didn't have a chin worth of shit. Jack Johnson versus Lennox Lewis. You know something funny? I think Lennox Lewis probably would have beat Jack Johnson. Why? Because he would have kept Jack Johnson at bay because he was bigger and taller. He had the height and the reach on him. Then Lennox Lewis was a big bastard too. He wasn't no small fry. He was a full-fledged heavyweight. And for the record, you look at someone like Lennox Lewis. I seen Lennox Lewis even at, how old is Lennox Lewis? 56, 57? He's still a big man. He's a naturally big guy. He's what, 6'4", 6'5"? He's like, he looks at Tyson Fury eye to eye. The night Tyson Fury knocked out Deontay Wilder for the second time in their third fight, you know, I think, there wasn't a big difference, bro. That's not. Lennox Lewis had a glass jaw. XK shots. You know something funny? Listen, I respect Lennox Lewis. I know he don't give a shit about me. That's fine. I didn't like him. I didn't like him when he was fighting. I didn't. I will admit that. I admit. Lennox Lewis, I did not like you. You beat up David Tua. You beat up Mike Tyson. They were my idols. You know, you never fought Ika Barabucci. You beat the shit out of Evander Holyfield. You never fought Riddick Bowe, but, that's not his fault. But again, I didn't like Lennox Lewis, but I respected him. I told Lennox Lewis that. Hey, I didn't like you, but I respected you. Okay? But I do have a video. I do have a video coming soon about Lennox Lewis. And it will just give you clarity on how people shouldn't shit on other fighters to this day. Because I have a counterpunch coming, talking about Lennox Lewis in every way. Bars. Fury ain't 6'9", like they say. No, I don't think he is. He cannot, Lennox Lewis cannot be looking at Tyson Fury the way that he did, if he did, if he was. ESPN hates on Lewis. Yeah, ESPN's from America, bro. What do you expect? He beat a drugged out Mike Tyson, not the same. Mike Tyson, yeah, he was on coke and all types of shit. And he further got on coke after that. Damn. It was his time to retire. He was the smart one. He got out while he was still ahead. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that he's guilty of is being drunk or high. But that's good. That's a different type of punishment. It ain't like getting a blow to the head, right? Yeah, the floating rib shot, man. Yeah. Yeah, Larry. Yeah, that's Courtney out there. Courtney? Who the fuck is Courtney? No, you mean Errol? Oh, yeah, Errol. Huh. I saw Fury standing next to Thor the Mountain, who is 6'8", by the way, and he looked a tad bit shorter. Just slightly, though. Well, there you go. And you got to think about, like, the Mountain. Jesus. Big guys, man. Big guys. Yeah, Mike Tyson he was high out of his mind. Did you guys know Mike Tyson cheated on every drug test damn near for the last, I don't know when? Mike Tyson was cheating, bro. And I don't mean like PED cheating. He was getting away with doing coke and all types of stuff. He was getting away with it. Like this guy he had basically a plastic deal. He had a plastic deal. And what he did was he pissed from under the bottom of his shit. That's how he passed his drug test. So he got some clean pee and he would basically piss in the cup and it was undetected. It was like, yeah, that's how he did that. And Tyson was doing everything under the sun. In fact, what do you think? All right, his first loss, the night before, it was confirmed that him and Bobby Brown, the former husband of Whitney Houston, was doing cocaine and having orgies with Japanese women that night before. So how in the hell was he able to pass a drug test then? That tells you he was cheating then. He had that apparatus for a very long time, throughout the 90s and through probably the time of his last fight. So we don't really know Mike Tyson's true potential. We just seen for the most part, people, a coked up Tyson. That's what we saw. A high Tyson whooping someone's ass. Yes, he used the whizzer. Bert Sugar said he wouldn't put Lewis in the top 100 heavyweights on ESPN, which is BS. I mean, it's wrong, but it is what it is. Lewis just wanted to do enough to show that he was the best, and he did that. And I think only person he had to satisfy was himself. It wasn't up to ESPN or Burt Sugar or anybody in America because he already knew what they did to him. They robbed him in that Holyfield fight. Everybody knows that. They gave that shit a draw, knowing damn well that that was a one-way boxing lesson. Yeah, I saw a video of Mike telling about how he got away with it. Yeah, that was Mike, man. Now he's just pothead Mike, you know? I was going to go live about the allegations, but I'm going to wait for that. Mike's true potential looks like the Razor Ruddock fight. I don't know what it looks like, man, because we don't know how long because when he got beat by Buster Douglas, if he was high then, we don't know how good he was really. We don't. We just know that when Customato left, all those other guys that got out of his corner that was really there for him, he was done. He was doomed. He left, you left Rooney and Customato died, and then you were left with Robin Givens and fucking Don King. It was over with. And a fucking bunch of groupies? Bunch of flunkies? No, it was over with. That's it. That's the story of Mike. Mike was a scared boy that was the undisputed challenger. Then Customato died, and that was a heartful thing. I mean, I don't think he would have been that. Like, what the hell was that? I have my own theory about Mike Tyson. My own theory is this: Mike Tyson, I think, was just fast tracked to the point where he had the physical ability, but I think he was pushed and fast tracked to the point because Customato knew he was going to die. Customato knew he was going to die, so he poured every possible thing that he could. All the love, all the hate, all the aggression, all the animosity, everything, okay? Everything he poured into a fighter, he did it with Mike Tyson as a child. Mike was a child, bro. He was a child with a compromised fucking mentality. But he loved him, and he put everything else in him, and he won Mike over, and Mike was an obedient pupil. And he knew, I want to see this guy become world champion because I know I've poured potential and I know I'm not going to live forever. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to attempt this and do everything I put into this little black kid from Catskill, New York, and I'm going to try my damnedest to stay alive to see it. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. He says he was on pure BS before the Douglas fight, though, thought he was going to steamroll him in late count and come back and KO the rest, Yeah. Kurt, what are your thoughts on the 60-year-old allegations towards George Foreman? Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, George Foreman's supposed to did some shit, man. Dude, I wasn't there. All I can tell you is what my father, my uncles, my other uncles, other people used to do, bro. And I don't want to sound like a prick or anything like that, but times were different, man. Times were absolutely different back then. We are soft now. We're in a soft era of people. We are. Hold on a second. We are in a soft era of people. Like, it's not the same. People can't say things. People can't do things. Now it's cool or popular to go along with the next upcoming thing. People did the things back in the day people did, they don't do now. The way men treated women were totally different than they do now. You couldn't do half that shit that you know what I mean? Let me give you a misdemeanor example of what I'm talking about. Okay. I had an uncle, okay? My uncle, he was into this chick, but he really wasn't a verbal guy. He was kind of shy, okay? It was a 66 filling station where he seen this lady go. And he noticed that she would go there on Thursdays, okay? So he would be there on Thursdays. He would hang out there every day just to see her. And she's seen him. She's not stupid. She's seen him. And since she's seen him, she noticed that he would be there every day. One fucking day, she dropped a book, or she dropped some groceries. That's what it was. And he ran to the aid to pick up the groceries. That's how they started talking. They got married. They had 4 fucking kids. You can't do that today. You do that shit today, and if you're somewhere where a girl that you're into or whatever for any reason and she sees you, she's going to immediately be frightened. She's going to be frightened because you know what you are. You're not a person that is into a person or infatuated or just a shy guy. You know what you are? You're a fucking stalker. That's what you are. You're a stalker and you will be arrested on suspicion. That's what you be. That's what we're living in today. So I'm just giving you an example of now versus then. So when you have all of this going on now, no, you can't. Most people don't even meet each other like face to face anymore. You know, I don't deal with social media, dating site. I don't need to any fucking way, but I wouldn't do that anyway. And I would think like, yo, it's hard to find relationships out there. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because whatever George Foreman was doing and however he did it, you know, that's how it was done then. You know, when people are now, they're finding loopholes on ways to get people's fortune. That's what's happening with that. That's the same thing what happened with Mike, George Foreman. We know George Foreman is worth millions. We know Mike Tyson has come up and he's got millions with his weed farms and his other shit. You know what I mean? Maybe, just maybe, Mike Tyson didn't get accused of any more rape allegations because they found out he was broke. He was broke. So they were like, okay, we can't get anything from him. I just made a bad mistake with him back in the day. He was a little aggressive, whatever. But I can't do anything from him now. Now you find out, you know, you got some hangovers. Hangovers was a long time ago in 2009. Now, you know, that was shit years ago, right? Damn near 15 years ago. But then, you know, that's when Mike started to get his bearings back and, you know, and then they passed new laws and then it's a way to, hey, you know, let's get some get back. Me Too, all that shit came around and people started abusing it, unfortunately. That's what I think has happened with Foreman and Tyson. Not saying what they did was correct. I'm not agreeing with them. What I'm saying is what was acceptable at the time, what people put up with or tolerated was normal. And if it wasn't normal, it was definitely fucking common. But common and normal are 2 different things. All right? Now kids don't get beats, they get treats. Fresh pair of sneaks, punishment, it's like, have a seat. Ghostface bar, damn, Art. Art coming in with those bars. And you're absolutely right. Screw Burt Sugar, says Rosewood Steel. Foreman from the era when college dudes still hollered at school, high schoolers. Yeah, dude. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Don King was the kiss of death. Yeah, Don King was, man, and Don King is still alive. I think he's finally slipping a bit. I seen an interview with, shout out to True School Sports. He interviewed Don King for maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple days ago. Anyhow, he has that on his channel and you could see Don kind of, yeah, it's going to be a good fight, baby. It's going to be a good fight. You tell everybody, you know, they don't want to miss it, you know. Feminism and the Me Too movement were good things that are nowadays used to get someone that someone else slightly dislikes or get money. It's really sad. Julian, it is. See, all that shit started good. Hell, David Koresh started as good. That don't mean he ended that way. You know, like certain people are going to use certain things like that to their benefit. And unfortunately, that's what it is. Let's get back to Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank Jr., he got chinned. He got chinned with a legal punch. However, this is what people need to understand. He did get elbowed, okay? Since he got elbowed, you know they're going to do whatever it takes. And this is what I think it comes down to. I think it comes down to the decision Liam Smith decides to take. If Liam Smith decides, I don't want to fight Chris Eubank Jr. again, fuck Chris Eubank. Okay. Then that's when I think Team Eubank is going to use that and pull that card. I think they're going to pull that card. I think they're going to definitely use it as a way to get a rematch or to justify a rematch. Art whipped me with a strap badass song from Ghostface. Yep. Jack Sparrow. Yeah, it's getting cold. It's getting cold. He got exposed by Beefy. Of all people, a guy nicknamed Beefy. Yep. Beefy gave him that beef. When people genuinely feel they've been cheated, they should appeal. When can appeal to for White can appeal to for getting pushed. Yo, peace, Kurt. I'ma head out. Julian Falcon, man, counterpunch to you. Art, a rematch clause is in place, I assume. Wilder too. Nah, Wilder's done, bro. Wilder's exhausted every possible thing that he could ever mention. You know, Wilder's talking some cash money shit these days. Like it's almost like I think you guys are tired of Wilder, but I mean Wilder ain't tired of Wilder. So I gotta keep reporting it. You know, I mean, I remember Wilder, everybody used to care what Wilder had to say. Nowadays they see that Wilder hasn't really respected anything or came back with anything like that or anything respectable, anything redeemable. And because he hasn't done that, it's like, people have just kind of lost respect for him a lot of times. Sure, the LDBC will always love him because they, for whatever reason, I mean, that's all they really have. They don't have Jarrell Miller yet. They don't have Jared Anderson. They can't talk to Frank Sanchez because he doesn't speak their language. So, I mean, that's really all they really have as far as that goes. Oh, shit. I hate when the shit goes black. You can't even see the screen. I had to plug this bad boy up. I was on my personal phone. Great. Yeah, it's sunny, but it's still cold because it's still January and this is the coldest month in the year. So go figure. All right. Smaller towns, people can either be surprisingly nice or surprisingly dangerous. Let me plug up my AJ's new opponent, legal or mismatch. Well, I mean, he could have done better. He could have always done better. But at the end of the day, I feel, excuse me on that. I feel that I'm just happy for the guy that got it, you know? Yeah, he don't like that beef. No, he don't like that beef, man. Will AJ ever box Usyk again? No. I think that's a done deal. But never say never, I mean, if it does, it just shows you how far boxing has got behind. And it just shows you that Money just kind of runs everything. Let's see. Hey, Kurt, how's it going? Jambone Gaming, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Everything is good. It's just cold. Should have Connor Ben banned just like Big Baby Miller did. um, well, the question you ask yourself, let me ask a better question. If Jarrell Miller was actually with Eddie Hearn, if he was actually with Eddie Hearn, would he have got the treatment from Eddie Hearn that Connor Ben got? That's the better question. Because, you know, it just seems like a lot of back and forth, a lot of omission, right? It just seems like a lot of concessions were from Connor Ben. A lot of protection. You know, we seen Dillian White, right? Dillian White was he was actually in a similar situation in 2019. What knocked him totally out of, he got suspended temporarily by yours truly, Mauricio Suleiman, right? So I think it was all strange how they handled Jarrell Miller. You know, because isn't that two drug tests? You know, I made a bad call. Eddie would have covered it up to an extent. I think that fight would have took place. That fight would have took place, bro, because he spent too much money. It was a sellout. There would be no Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, you wouldn't even heard of him until he probably got another opportunity, and we don't know when that would have been. Okay, just saying. We don't know when that would have been. Chris Eubank is launching an elbow against an illegal elbow. Appeal against an illegal elbow. Yeah, that's what he's doing. I mean, um, why not? I think it just sells the second fight. I don't see any of those guys. Golovkin should retire, man. I've been saying that about Golovkin since 2017. Yo, retire. Go home. Matter of fact, it was 2018. Because you guys, let me share something with you. I remember where I'm at when I do certain videos because I remember where I was when it made me think of the video to make the video, right? So I remember I was sitting outside of Texas Roadhouse in what's that place? It's in Texas, but not Cedar Park, not Round Rock, but damn, I always forget it's a weird name. But I was sitting there. It was off of 35, and I was sitting there thinking about Gennady Golovkin. And I was thinking to myself, like, Gennady Golovkin, you should retire. Because his wife wanted him to retire. And I was reading on one of the wishes from his wife, and his wife was like, please retire because, you know, you need to spend more time with your family. And even at that time, Gennady Golovkin was like 36. If he's 40 now, you know. Did you see Box viral video of John Fury trying the KSI versus Paul Prime drink? John can be funny, MF sometimes. No, I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it. The only two good fights Triple G got left is Beterbiev and Bivol. I don't know about any of that because, I mean, I seen him look like an older fighter at 168. He made the weight, sure, but, you know. Gennady Golovkin,
His whole, and it's sad though. I mean, he got his money, and it just shows you how money changes people and their legacy and their formation in life and all that. This guy, he could have fought Deverenchenko for the IBF, but he didn't. He wanted to fight Canelo again. Idiot. He should have fought Deverenchenko. He beat Deverenchenko anyway later on. But it was crazy because he should have fought him and he didn't. So the IBF stripped him. They gave it to to Deverenchenko. Then he fights Canelo and then loses. Then he fights Steve Rose. Then he fights Deverenchenko. Then gets the IBF belt back that he lost. And it was just a bunch of, like, he could have been undisputed champion. Because remember, I want champion, I want belt, right? It went from that to I want Canelo. Okay, you got Canelo, so you still got your belts because they tried to cheat you. We know you won. You outpointed him. You out hustled him. Canelo, a guy that accused Gennady Erislandy Lara from running, he did the same type of game plan, boxing and moving. You know, but then again, it was allowed when Canelo did it. But then when Erislandy Lara did it, they called him a running guy. So, Triple G too small to fight Bivol or Better Beef. He would be destroyed. Or, yeah. Well, or destroyed. I don't know. I think Gennady Golovkin's jab is very powerful, but he is old. Okay? Dealing with those young guys, even Better Biev, and he's no spring chicken, guys. He's like 36 or 37. Either way, Better Biev is still very, very game and very, very dangerous. I mean, very dangerous. He is like Gennady Golovkin was at that same age, because Gennady Golovkin was still dangerous at 35, 36. It's just he wasn't where he was at 33 or 34. That's why they knew Oscar De La Hoya is not an idiot. De La Hoya seen Gennady Golovkin is a threat, but he also seen his star pupil fighter, Canelo Alvarez, as a sensational golden goose. Since he knew that, he says, there's no way I'm going to put that man in the ring with that man at this time. I'm going to wait. I'm going to marinate that fight and let Gennady Golovkin fight some other tougher guys, because guys were ducking him. Peter Quillen, one. Billy Joe Saunders, two. Chris Eubank, I don't know what the hell happened with that, right? Three, because his father, I don't know how they screwed it up. Who else? Who else was ducking him? A lot of people were ducking him. Especially the way he beat up David Lemieux. David Lemieux was probably one of the hardest punching heavyweights. He just had little dinosaur arms. He just, you had to be right up on you to catch you with those hooks. But I mean, he was a hard puncher. But it didn't really matter. I mean, Gennady Golovkin picked him apart. And after that fight, they knew, well, wait a minute. Gennady Golovkin ain't even just a overall banger. He's a silver Olympian. He lost 5 amateur fights in his hundreds of amateur fights career. That's a very good record. You know. Yeah, Psycho Crusher. Yeah, it was a robbery. The second fight was a draw, and the third one was elder abuse. It was. They knew that, but that's all because Oscar De La Hoya knew he had to have leverage. He knew he wasn't going to let Canelo Alvarez for 2 reasons. He knew, well, we can beat him later on. I think in time, Canelo will be able to beat him because Canelo's very good. But Canelo at this point of time is selling out venues. He's selling out, he's making, and he's breaking his own records with the fights that he creates. Okay. So, like, Canelo was the man. Floyd was gone. So Floyd wasn't even a factor no more. That's that guy that was just too good for Canelo when he fought him. And they went for that fight because it was Floyd. Gennady Golovkin was that guy that everybody ran from. He was the boogeyman. He was the monster. Floyd was the cash cow. Floyd was the cash cow. And before that cash cow was Oscar De La Hoya. That's how Oscar De La Hoya knew that Canelo was that cash cow, because he was that cash cow. Floyd took the torch from him, and then he beat up Canelo, and then Canelo pretty much adopted that torch, And then he beat up Cotto because those guys had a pretty good fight with him. Cotto had a better fight actually, so he beat Cotto up. After Cotto took that $15 million and went off in the sunset, and he retired himself. Then it was nobody left but Canelo. No one was left but Canelo, because whenever Canelo landed it in that fight, it looked bad. Everybody not named Alvarez ducked the Triple G fade back then. Yeah, they did. And everybody, got on Golovkin because Golovkin, he wanted to be like Marvin Hagler, marvelous Marvin Hagler, right? Um, because Hagler didn't move up. He didn't move up. He didn't go anywhere. He left, but he didn't move up to fight in another weight class. What's next for Chris Eubank Jr. Apart from rematching Liam? Nothing. He ain't got nowhere to go. He ain't got nowhere to go. He has nowhere to be. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. He needs that fight to redeem himself, so he can consider himself still credible in this boxing game, in the sport. Canelo versus Triple G3 was huge in Europe, not in the U.S. Okay, it didn't really matter though. Still got beat up. Ben will be back to fight Eubank. The egg story that eating a lot of modern eggs produce female hormones is all in other media for some reason. Well, they're both getting clowned. Chris Eubank Jr. is getting clowned for getting beat up by Beefy Smith. Connor, we already know what his deal is, and I think Chris Eubank Jr. Um, is a guy that he needs to redeem himself. He needs that rematch. He needs to show himself, and he needs to show the world that, hey, that was a rematch. If it really was, a mismatch or a accident, fluke. Eubank looked dangerous punching through Smith's guard with straights. Yeah, but he's going to have to prove a lot. He's going to have to show that he can hurt Liam Smith. He's going to have to show that he can beat up Liam Smith. And, he's going to have to show a lot of things, because Liam Smith, I think at this point, is not going to respect him. Why? Because Liam Smith's been in there with Canelo. He's been in there with Munguia. And those guys punched. Those guys put him down. Okay? They put Liam down. He claimed that Chris Eubank Jr. can't punch. That's the same thing that Deontay Wilder thought of Tyson Fury. Now, not everything is Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, so that may not happen. Who do you think is next for Conor, or would you like to see? I would like to see him fight Tank Davis. If Tank Davis can knock out Ryan Garcia, let's see that at 147. I don't think Conor Benn should go anywhere in the 50s. He's too small for that right now, and he's young. Get a super fight. Conor Benn, Tank Davis. That's what I want to see. Yeah. Tattoos versus tattoos. UK versus USA. Let's go. That would be explosive. They've already started talking a lot of shit. Again, Conor started talking about him beating on women. And then, Gervonta Tank Davis just thinks he is a crook, a cheat, and so is his promoter. Tank is going to cause Ryan's next bout with NVM. What's MVM? Eubank needs to fight a bit heavier now. He's drained. Well, if he fights at 157, he's going to be really drained. But it just shows you too, and it should be a reminder to him that he's, his shit don't stink. He's not the best, and stop being arrogant. Respect your fighters. That Asian, that pissing excellence look he has. He's gonna have to stop that. Oh, I came in at 50%. Well, you need to come in at 100 in each and every fight. That's just being a professional, being able to deal with whatever may come. If you're 50%, if you have a half a tank and you know, hey, I'm going to depend on that gas station 50 miles up the road, but what if that's not there? What if it's closed? What if they don't have any gas? That's what he needs to anticipate. And, Chris Eubank Jr. hasn't done that. He's talking about, I'll fight at 50%. No, fight at 100%. You're doing yourself disservice, okay, for coming in supposedly at 50%. Eddie explained what he meant about Tank being in an animal mode in the ring. Yeah, I know what he meant. It didn't matter. That's old news now. Can't really happen safely. That fight with Ben Sr. was correct. Yeah, I mean, now we see why, and now that's a very great counterpunch, bro. Um, Jack. Yeah, I mean, he was right. I mean, he was like, you tried to murder my boy. You try to murder him, and it's like, yeah, I mean that he's too big. Yeah, Connor coming in 100%. I want to see Connor whack somebody's ass clean, clean and clear. That's what I want to see. So is it warranted? Maybe, maybe not, guys. I don't know. Um, I just think that's nowhere else but to go. Liam Smith, he should get more money for fighting Chris Eubank. I think that should be, his nice retirement check for him getting out, win, lose, or draw. He may get a Golovkin fight after that, if he decides to, and then that's more money on top of the money he'll get for the rematch with Chris Eubank, which should be more than what Chris Eubank is getting for the rematch. The elbow, yes, it was a foul. The referee should have caught it, but he didn't. But then again, people remember something. The referee is just human like everybody else. But then again, you do see guys, referees, that will see a foul and overlook the foul, and continue to concentrate on the fighter beating the other fighter or getting to the other fighter. That's the problem. But anyway, I'm glad you guys came on and hollered at me. I will go live for Better Biev versus Yard this Saturday. Thank all you guys for coming on. Be safe. God bless. And everyone has been Counterpunch. Peace.